Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekday mornings, Mondays through Fridays, at 8 o'clock Central. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2025. Today, we're going to be talking about the Opportunity Fund. It is part of the grant that we received. It's designed to help participants who are pursuing funding through one of our fundable shelf corporations. So it's an element that doesn't cost anything, but it's an enhancement for those that are going through the fundable shelf corp, building out their business to access large amounts of funding. This is designed to put immediate cash flow into their pocket. So let's go ahead and go through this flyer, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. You'll be able to type those into the Q&A. It's like a chat box of Zoom. All right, so taking the flyer from the top, Opportunity Fund, a grant program designed to provide 5,000 daily deposits. And again, this is not a loan. It does not have to be repaid. As far as who should participate in the Opportunity Fund, the Opportunity Fund positions you to be a financial literacy educator / grant coordinator to earn an adult income while helping entrepreneurs build their financial literacy and access funding through our grant subsidized program. So that's essentially what I said just a moment ago, is that it's not meant to distract our clients, because our clients come to us and they want to open a doctor's clinic, or they want to open an architectural firm, or whatever, truck driving company, whatever their primary industry is. But there sometimes can be a gap in time between today and when they have the ability to execute their new business strategy. So the Opportunity Fund fills that gap between now and then. It's not meant to distract them or redirect them away from their goals and dreams and visions, but it provides cash flow in the short term. Because what do you and I know? Cash flow is king, right? Even though we have a fundable business in terms of business plan and financial forecast and balance sheet and strong trade lines, cash flow matters. This is how we can generate the cash flow for the participants. So going on, it says earn adult money while helping people. Sure, you'll have a great side income, which we talked about, the 5,000 a day. And again, I know for many of you, 5,000 a day doesn't really impress you, but it's meant to provide consistent daily deposits, which we'll talk about why that helps your business in a moment, but probably pretty obvious. So sure, you earn a great income to be able to strengthen your bank balance. So if we were to really just dig in to say, well, why is the Opportunity Fund so valuable? Well, right here is our list. The first thing is, we know that lenders will often look at the bank balance of the borrower to determine solvency, to determine also liquidity. So the bank balance matters, and so we don't want to have clients that are insolvent. So by putting the 5,000 a day into their account, their bank balance looks stronger. Secondly, but related, is bank rating. And as we've talked about on prior trainings, there's a methodology in which banks rate or assign descriptions to clients' bank accounts. And so what we want to do is have at least a low 5 bank rating. If you don't remember what that means, you can go back to the prior training. So that's the second. And I realize those two are interrelated. I guess all of these are interrelated. Thirdly, liquidity. We don't want to have a client that's running on fumes, a client that can't pay their bills, a client that can't pay themselves, because we always encourage our clients to set themselves up as a W-2 employee of their business. They shouldn't be self-employed. They shouldn't be 1099. They should be an employee of their own company, W-2. Well, that's hard to do, right, if the business is running on fumes. So we want to have liquidity. Then, of course, we have the financial statements. The two main financial statements, of course, are the balance sheet and then the P&L. P&L means profit and loss, means the same as income statement. So by putting these 5,000 daily deposits into their account, in addition to these other benefits, it makes our financial statements look strong, and again, solvency. So I know those are all kind of interrelated, but I think for a lot of you who are really successful, it's easy to overlook the struggles that a lot of these entrepreneurs have, where they're just barely getting by. In some cases, they're not getting by. So this is designed because what we know is people don't want a welfare program. People tell us all the time, don't give me something, give me an opportunity to earn. So this is not a welfare program where they sign up and it's like a food bank where you go down to the church on Wednesdays and put free food in your trunk. Not at all. So it's a hand up, not a handout. That's what entrepreneurs want, right? Entrepreneurs do not want a welfare program. You may find the biggest reward is helping entrepreneurs solve their biggest problem, because that's what we do. It's all about teaching. And Jocelyn brings up a great point. This is not a sales role. It's not. It's teaching, and we're going to go through some simple action steps either today, or if we don't get to it today, we'll go to part 2 tomorrow. So what is it that you and I know? So let's take Natasha, who's on the training. Natasha, she and I have talked this morning already. She's sharp. She understands that there's a recipe, a formula for funding. And if you follow that, it'll work. Just like if you and I wanted to bake a cake, right? If we have the ingredients, which is important, and we also have the recipe, if we follow the recipe with the ingredients, we will bake a cake. It'll come out as expected. But a lot of people, they either don't have the ingredients, so that's why they need a fundable shelf corp, and or they lack the recipe, and that's what you and I do. So it's not too good to be true. It's incredibly transparent. About a week or so ago, we rolled out our checklist, and that has been a game changer, because now we frankly just decided to lift up our skirts and show everyone, here are the steps. Here's the formula for funding. And frankly, if they wanted to go do it on their own, they could. But it's a proven formula. It'll work 100% of the time. The key is getting people that'll follow the recipe. All right, so let's scroll down to the bottom half of the flyer. And again, our information's here at the bottom, 509 Pacific. So getting money to start or grow a business shouldn't be difficult. Our innovative model makes it simple for small businesses to access a minimum of $100,000 while positioning you to earn adult income. And that's really the topic today. So sure, we're helping small businesses. We're helping them build their financial literacy. We're getting them money to start or grow. But today's discussion is really not about them. It's about you understanding how the Opportunity Fund works. We've made some changes into the implementation that I think you'll find remarkably simple, but we'll get to that in a moment. So most people that are evaluating the Opportunity Fund wants to know, okay, well, what's in it for the grant participants? Because that's really what we're doing. We're going out, we're educating, and we're looking for grant participants in the Fundable Shelf Corp. So what do we know as the benefits for those that are participating in the Fundable Shelf Corp? Well, number one, there's no minimum credit scores, and that's important. And I think the economy is starting to tighten again. There's a lot of people that have dings on their credit that can't get funding through normal means. We don't screen those folks out. They can be a challenge, because a lot of times people that have banged up credit, sometimes they don't have good responsibility of paying their bills. That's kind of why their credit may be bad. And so it takes a little more patience and a little more assistance with this group of people, but it's great that we don't refuse help to anyone. So when people enroll in the grant, what are they getting? Well, they're getting an entity, a business entity with the EIN. They're getting the unique business address, which is needed, the documentation, the business plan, the financial projections that go out 3 years, the trade lines, the collateral, the 100,000, and then we guarantee them a minimum of 100,000 capital raise. If they want more, that's fine, but the way the grant is written, we guarantee them 100,000. So there's great benefits for the grant participants. Today's topic really isn't about that. It's more about you. Why would you benefit from participating in the Opportunity Fund? So sure, we can help them. It's kind of like being on an airplane. They ever teach you right before they take off, they say, hey, if we lose cabin pressure, put your mask on first and then help the person next to you. So we've got to make sure that you're taken care of. If you're strong financially, then we can go help other people. But we need to make sure that you're strong. We got to get your oxygen mask on first, if applicable. So the nice thing about the Opportunity Fund, it's not a sales position and you're not responsible for implementing. We want the Opportunity Fund to be crazy simple. All you do is educate. Now, I'll talk more to that in just a moment. We just want you to educate. You can educate in person or online. You can educate individuals or you can educate groups. Now, we have packaged the message so you don't even have to say it. You're just facilitating it. We have the educational message packaged and ready for you to share with people in person or online. So you don't even have to go learn the material. We've simplified this down because, again, we know people in the Opportunity Fund are using this to get a jolt of money. What we'd like to do for each new client is have them use the Opportunity Fund for 1 month, 30 days. And of course, within a 30-day month, you have weekends and occasionally holidays, but let's just say we have 20 weekdays. The goal is to get 100,000 of daily deposits. So in other words, 20 of these. So at the end of the month, we're able to show on the bank statement that we brought in 100,000. Now it's money that's real, that can be used, that can be spent, but we need the deposits, and then we of course want to maintain at least a $10,000 daily bank balance. So if we bring in 100,000, we can spend 90 of it, but we would like the client to maintain at least 10,000. So with that being said, of course, there's no cost to participate in the Opportunity Fund, nothing you have to buy. It's very easy to find grant participants. And I think some of you, take Linzo, for example. Some of you live, and I say this affectionately, some of you live in a country club environment. Take Linzo. And so, when he's going to the country club for lunch, he's not running into a lot of people that need money to start or grow, right? The average age, Linzo at the country club is probably 70. And these people are largely retired or doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs. But not everyone is like who Linzo has lunch with. The average person out there, the average small business owner wants and needs capital, but they need help to qualify. It's either they don't have the ingredients and or they don't have the recipe. And they're in a pretty piss poor shape. If you're trying to bake a cake and you don't know the ingredients, what the ingredients are, and you don't know what the recipe is, the likelihood that you're going to bake a cake is not very good. That's where a lot of these folks are. Some of you and some of us have had the best success working with hosts. Hosts are the way to go to educate a greater number of people. So I know I've gone to churches of all different denominations, chambers of commerce, business organizations, and trade groups where they'll have you come in and teach the curriculum. But again, we've now made this curriculum on demand. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to present it. You're really more of the facilitator. You open up the discussion, you play the on-demand training, and then you answer questions afterwards. But we have a very specific process I want to go through with you, if not today, on our call tomorrow, part 2. So again, yes, it's about helping people, but we need to get your oxygen mask on first. So with that, let's talk about the comp model. So with the Opportunity Fund, 5,000 daily deposits is the design. What you do is you're going to earn for teaching people. We're going to teach people about financial literacy. We're going to use the on-demand training, so you don't have to learn it yourself. You don't have to teach it yourself. You essentially play the recorded message, open the discussion, answer their questions, do the assessment, and then most of them will enroll. So you're making $5,000 up front for those that you educate that enroll in the Fundable Shelf Corp, plus you make another 5% on the back end. And that's great because we know they're guaranteed a minimum of 100,000 capital raise. So if you're making 5% of 100,000, you've just doubled your money. So is this get rich quick? Absolutely not. But it's, I mean, it's an honorable side income. Take who should we pick here? Take Varney, who's on the training. Varney, to earn an extra $10,000 per person he educates, not a big deal to him. But if he does it consistently, then now all of a sudden 10,000 times 20 days in a month equals a good side income. So it's easy. There's no prior training or experience necessary. The training support's provided for the Opportunity Fund. But essentially what we're wanting the participants in the Opportunity Fund to do is just use the training that we provide. So let's get to questions, comments, concerns that you all have. And again, if you're interested in participating in the Opportunity Fund, it's on 509 Pacific. So let me make this a little bit smaller so we can see the flyer. And let's get to your questions here. And if you have any questions, you can type it into the Q&A. Stefan asked, yeah, so this is available for all individuals within the U.S. and outside of the U.S. So that is not, it's not a constraint, not a problem where the people live. Kenny says that he's going to go out and teach this at trade schools, and that makes a lot of sense. And we've done some of that. So let's say that you go to a local cosmetology school. What's happening? The cosmetology school is training people how to be cosmetologists. They might have one class or a discussion on how do you get money to go open your own salon, but usually it's not their wheelhouse. So what Kenny sounds like he's going to do, which makes a lot of sense, is he's going to identify every cosmetology school in his area, and he's going to essentially become the trainer for those students on how to get funding to start their new cosmetology business. So he's going to go in and he's going to teach the on-demand training. So all he's got to do is have the AV equipment, which the host will provide. And then he'll open up the discussion. He'll use our on-demand training. And then afterwards, he's going to do an assessment of each participant. And we'll talk more about that assessment in a moment. And then after that, what we find is 80 to 90% of the people enroll. All right, let's see here. Jennifer asked about the difference between the reseller and the Opportunity Fund. So the comp model is the same, Jennifer, but it's a difference in philosophy. People that are participating in the Opportunity Fund, they're looking at this as just a bridge, something short term to get them from where they're at to get their business up and going. So it's just a bridge, it's gap, it's a short-term strategy where often our resellers, they're using these resources for a longer term. So the main difference between the reseller and the Opportunity Fund, even though the comp model is the same, it's the mindset. Because let's say, Jennifer, you went to Quentin, who's on here, and Quentin is a veterinarian. He wants to open a veterinarian clinic. That's his focus. Well, he doesn't have the money to do it, so he's going to use a fundable shelf corp, but you don't get your veterinarian clinic open immediately, right? So there's a gap of time between here, now, and then. And so clients that have a gap can participate in the Opportunity Fund. We can get those daily deposits going right away, so that way they look stronger for their funding. Now, if Quentin says, no, I'm going to be a lawyer or open my his law practice, and he's already got clients lined up, he wouldn't need this. He already has his cash flow figured out. But there's a fair number of our clients, Jennifer, that have that gap between today and their business cash flowing, and this can be a supplement for them. Hopefully that makes sense. And this is important, right? Because there's the 3 C's, right? There's the 3 C's. Credit, which we help with personal credit, but on the business side, that's included. There's collateral, which we provide. We transfer 100,000 of AR for free. And then the third C is capacity, cash flow. And so this is how we can help them with cash flow while they're getting their business up and going. All right, let's see here. Got a bunch of questions. Art says no PG. Yeah, this isn't a loan. The Opportunity Fund is not a loan. It is not money that has to be paid back. Therefore, there is no PG. There is no interest rate because it's not repaid, Art. So the goal would be 5,000 a day for 1 month, puts them right at 100,000. So we have the stronger financials, then we can obviously qualify for a much larger business loan, which we do that through the Fundable Shelf Corp, right? All right, let's see if I can get my notes pulled up. I was having a little bit of problem this morning with my notes, but let me see if I can get, we're going to try this with alternatives. So we're going to try using sticky notes here. Okay, so the process, and who was it? Art? Was it Art? Yeah, someone was asking for details on the process. Yeah, it was Art. Okay, so let's go through the Opportunity Fund process. Okay, so step 1 is we need to get plugged in. It's free, of course. And that's on 509 on our nonprofit website, 509pacific.org. And that's, of course, at the bottom of the flyer. We kind of already covered that. So once someone goes to 509pacific.org, fills out the form to be a grant coordinator. Grant coordinator means the same as financial literacy educator, but regardless, then they will be sent, they will receive the implementation packet. Now, this is where there's a difference between the role of a reseller and those in the Opportunity Fund. A reseller is someone that's a business development expert, right? They're in sales. So they're ready to take the Shelf Corp opportunity and go out and sell it, maybe develop a sales team, whatever else. The Opportunity Fund participants, unlike that, they're just looking simply for a gap resource, a gap solution. They want that 5,000 a day for a month, so that way the business looks strong. We have the solvency, all those benefits we talked about. So there's a simple process for participants in the Opportunity Fund. So let's create a little more space here. So the first thing that they're going to do, what we use letters now, is they're going to use the 27 mistake on demand video to teach. Now, what did we say? They can teach in person or online. We said that they can teach individuals or groups. But regardless, this 27 mistake on demand video, it's a non-sales oriented financial literacy piece. It's about an hour long, but my goodness, it takes individuals through what typically keeps entrepreneurs from getting funding, and thus the converse of that. It also has a soft overlay of, oh, here's how a Fundable Shelf Corp could help. So this is specifically that educational curriculum that I was recommending down here at the bottom. So it's an on-demand. So do you need to get the PowerPoint and learn it? No, you're going to be provided a link, and the link is ready to use, and you can teach it. And you can use it in person or online to individuals or groups. So this is the message. Now, the second step that participants in the Opportunity Fund will do is conduct the, you lost our letters there, didn't we, for some reason? Let's add bullets, maybe. We were doing pretty well, and then we lost our, that's all right. We'll continue on. We'll just put a dash there for the meantime. So we're going to conduct the comparison analysis. So all of you should have the comparison analysis spreadsheet in editable format. So when we sent you the implementation packet, it included, Mr. L up there, it included the comparison analysis. So first we teach what essentially what does it take to have a fundable business, not selling, teach. Then we help them go through a very analytical approach of, okay, what are your options to get money to start or grow your business? And if you remember that comparison sheet, if not, you can go to our YouTube channel and we have a training off of that. And then simply then for those interested, help them enroll in the grant. So it's just 3 simple steps, no selling involved. We use the on-demand training module to educate them what does it take to have a fundable business. Afterwards, then we essentially apply that learned knowledge to their circumstance using the comparison sheet, the comparison analysis that all of you should have. And then those that want to participate in the grant will enroll. And our average is 80% to 90% of the people that you teach will enroll. So I think this is just more of a financial literacy, more of an financial, an education role than a sales role. So who has questions on this? Let's see if I can stretch that out effectively. I guess I can't. Okay, so let's see who has questions, comments, concerns. You can type it into the Q&A. A bunch of comments. Let's see. Tracy's asking for the comparison sheet. So the comparison sheet comes out automatically once you request the packet. So just Tracy, go to 509 Pacific, Tracy or anyone else, go to 509pacific.org. There's a form to be a grant coordinator, no contract to sign, no money to pay. Fill out that form, and then we'll send you the packet, which we mentioned. And it includes the comparison analysis. Now, it also now includes this. It didn't include this before. So we're providing you the educational material, we're providing you the comparison analysis, and you're ready to kick up the daily deposits. Make sense, Tracy? All right, so I think Lawrence is saying, well, he's already with us. Does he need to do this? If you don't have all the resources, I guess my point is go ahead and fill out the form again if you feel that you don't have the resources, and that'll trigger us to resend it. Let's see. Art's asking about the enrollment. Yeah, so the participation form, which was this. So that comes also in the packet, Art. So if you go to 509 Pacific and request to be a grant coordinator, you're going to get all the tools and resources because we know you're busy. We got to keep it simple. So now you'll have the training, you'll have the comparison sheet in editable format, you'll have the enrollment document, everything will be there, Art. So if you don't have it, go to 509pacific.org and either fill out again or fill out the first time the grant coordinator. It's meant to be all delivered there. Okay, let's see. Bilal's asking about, getting the word out. Yeah, so it's up to you because you're right. Our goal is to help people, and we want to help people through education. So we do need people to educate, right? Because if we're just sitting in our dining room and there's no one to educate, we're not accomplishing much. So that would be up to you as a participant in the Opportunity Fund, kind of how you want to get out and spread the word. But I've already tipped you off one of the best ways, and you can just go to friends or family or whatever, but one of the best ways is to work with hosts. And we've had great success going into organizations. Even we've had trade organizations like what was the group? Something like Black Women in Construction. I don't think that's exactly right, but it's pretty close. They invited us to come to their national meeting, and we were a keynote speaker in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at their national meeting. So just think about where entrepreneurs might be, and usually there's someone that runs that group or that organization, called the host in our terminology, and you could ask them if you could educate their group, their organization, and just follow those three simple steps: educate, conduct the comparison analysis, and then if they want to enroll in the grant, help them to. You don't have to pressure them. All right, let me see if I'm missing anything else here. I think we covered most of it. But with that being said, if you need additional assistance, let us know. Our goal today was to let you know that we've improved the Opportunity Fund. It's still the 5,000. It's set up to be 5,000 a day, no change there, but we've made it simpler for the participants. We know that these people have other aspirations, other dreams, other areas of focus. But if they're having liquidity, solvency, money problems between now and the time that their business is cash flowing, they can jump into the Opportunity Fund. They can jump right back out when they're done, 30 days later, 60 days later, or they can stay in it. And it's just simply educate, evaluate, enroll. 3 E's. Educate, evaluate, enroll. Educate, evaluate, enroll. If you have any questions, let us know. All of our contact information is on 509pacific.org, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.